What's going on, South Coastin? I'm coming to you on week 17 with a championship Christmas Eve special. Wasn't sure if I was going to do one this week. Was out last week, but I was on vacation in Mexico and brought back a flavor that I was actually going to share with Jose. These are Miguelitos, specifically papas fritas con dulce en polvo enchilado Miguelito. Jose, you were saying that you liked those chips that were just caked with flavor. Well, when I was down in Mexico, I saw these and I was like, oh, those are going to be caked with flavor. They did not disappoint. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if the camera is not showing like the redness, but these things, they're red. They're red because they're caked with powder. That is a good flavor. It is like just it's an explosion of flavor. And man, it's like are there potato chips underneath this stuff? Because I don't know, it's amazing. They are so good. But they pack such a punch that you can't eat too many of them. I kind of made that mistake, and the next like day and a half, my teeth were hurting like I don't know, like they had holes in them or something. But that goes away. It's worth it. And I'm gonna eat this whole, bowl of chips anyways, while we talk about the playoffs, what's happened, and what we got left. So let's do that. Let's go to the playoff picture real quick. I know we didn't talk about round one. I won't spend too much time on it because it's already 2 weeks away. But Rochelle, you advanced to round two where you faced me. Sorry, HB Show Dogs, I took you out. And it was a rough one because Kyle Pitts, if you don't remember, he played Thursday night to start week one of the playoffs, and he scored like 34 points. Sorry you had to go through that, man. If it makes you feel any better, I've been there. And yeah, it just doesn't feel good anytime. But congrats for making it to the playoffs. And I like the trajectory of your team. And then we have Jomar. Jomar, that's right. You ended up beating Jose. And look at you, man. You seem to show up weeks 15 through 17. You did it not too long ago where you won the championship maybe 3 years ago. And, man, you 128 in week 15, 138 in week 16. That makes me wonder what's coming week 17. And then Rick beating the Lucky Capybaras. Russell, I actually brought you back a present from Mexico, too. You'll find it on your desk. It has to do with capybaras. I may have just gotten it to you too late. That brings us to week 16, which was a very interesting set of matchups because we had Madame Ram versus yours truly, Dax got a nose for Pickens, two people in billing. And then on the other side, we got SB Chargers, which is IT, versus Mr. Lumpia Puto, which is, or at least was, also IT. So you got billing versus billing, IT versus IT. Let's take a look at what happened. Madame Ram versus Dax got a nose for Pickens. Really, you started off so strong, Rochelle. In fact, I was like, she's going to take this. Matthew Stafford scoring 32 on a Thursday. And I don't think that was it for you. The Rams actually had a higher score until it went into overtime, I think. And then, Seattle ended up scoring those points, which gave your defense negative points. And unfortunately, things didn't get much better after that game. As you can see, Travion Henderson, he left the game pretty early with a concussion. I hate to see it. I hate to play against it. I always want to play against people's best teams. But Josh Jacobs kind of did the same thing to me, scoring only 2 points. I don't know. I just had a bunch of good, but not top tier performances. But all the good performances, they added up to 127. And I guess it edged you out, Rochelle. Good playing against you. Good luck next year. Then we got Rick versus Jomar. It was looking like an interesting matchup after Saturday's games. Specifically, DJ Moore catching that overtime touchdown to win it for the Bears. I was like, oh, dang, Rick is going to steal this from Jomar. But Jomar said, no, you are not going to steal this from me, because the 49ers, they showed up for Jomar's team. I remember doing the math. I was like, okay, Jomar needs like 50 points out of Purdy, McCaffrey, Kittle. And yeah, you can do that, right? It's not that difficult out of those three guys. But you can also not do it, and all of a sudden you lose. Well, let's see. How many points came from these guys? You got 56 plus 17. I don't know, what is that? 72 points. More than enough. And, Rick and I were talking a few days afterwards. We were looking at the people on his bench. Doesn't matter who he started. So it's kind of I don't know. I think it helps you rest easier at night, Rick, knowing that no matter what you do, there was no chance that you could have beaten him. And sometimes it's just the way ball bounces. Now, what I do want to say is that even though you two are eliminated, Rochelle and Rick, Jose, you might want to let me know if this is accurate or not, but you two are still playing for a third place prize. At least I think you are. So it might have significance what happens between this matchup this week. Again, Jose, if you could please confirm or correct me, I would appreciate it. That being said, we are left with the championship match. Jomar and Mick. I am the defending champ from last year. I did not expect to be in maybe make the playoffs, but get knocked out early. I did not expect to be in the finals. It just so happens Dak really does have a nose for Pickens. He really does. And Josh Jacobs had a fantastic year, aside from the very last game he played. Achane, I had no idea that a running back could be so good on such a terrible team. I didn't know Jackson Smith-Njigba was going to be the number one wide receiver on the year. Just so many things that happened that I wasn't expecting. I would have expected Jomar to make it to the playoffs. I think we mentioned it in our last video. Jomar, you always are scrapping together, just the best team you can on the waiver wire. If you look at Jomar's activity, which, I don't know, I don't want to look it up right now. But he's got like more than twice the amount of waiver pickups than the next highest person. So that just shows you are putting in the work and it is paying off. As far as this week, it's 105 to 114. I imagine there's going to be some moves made on our roster here. George Kittle may or may not play. I have no idea what to do for a defense. Congratulations, Jomar. You actually picked up the Steelers that I had a waiver claim in on. So I think they are one of the better defenses on the week. You may have lost some players that you probably would be starting. Rashee Rice, yeah, he is now on IR. Well, I didn't actually know that. Marvin Harrison, he gave up. He just doesn't want to really try playing football right now. I don't know what's going on with that guy. You have Taysom Hill, which you might swap in place of George Kittle, depending on how the news breaks. So I'm not sure if that projection is fully accurate to what the final lineup will be. And same with me. I've been riding Dak Prescott all year, but I think week 17 might be the week to change it up to a guy I picked up a few weeks ago who was just sitting out on the waivers, Joe Burrow. I like that matchup against Arizona at home. There's a chance that Dallas could just flatten Washington, and by the third quarter, they're thinking about sitting Dak Prescott. And, if the touchdowns came via the running game with Javonte Williams, I could very easily see a 14-point game out of Dak. This game, I think they're going to be throwing touchdowns, and Arizona's going to be throwing touchdowns, and then Joe Burrow's going to match them. So I don't know. We'll see. It kind of is a weird thing, though, to have ridden a player successfully to the championship week and then be like, I'm going to pivot. But sometimes it's worth doing. And seeing what the what you unwrap as a Christmas present. Plus, the other part of that, Dak plays tomorrow on Christmas. And I don't want to open that Christmas present tomorrow. I want that to come later in the weekend where, there's still the mystery of what can happen. Now, if Dak goes out and throws for, 4 touchdowns and gets 30 points tomorrow, well, hopefully the other Christmas present has something just as good in Joe Burrow. On your side, Jomar, Purdy, McCaffrey, possibly Kittle, I think they are the 3 that could, just spoil my weekend and make your weekend a really good one. We will see. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, he's been doing it all season long. It's a game that matters against Chicago. And, RJ Harvey, yeah, he's probably having a good game against KC. Amon-Ra, he probably is going to play through whatever knee thing he's got going on. Cortland Sutton, so you're just doubling up like against KC. I like it. But no, I think the Niners are going to determine whether or not you take the championship and take the cup this year. Either way, it's been fun playing against everyone. Jomar, even though I want to win, good luck to yourself as well this week. I hope it's a good game between the two of us. And I'm going to enjoy some more of these chips and call it a day and get home to my Christmas Eve celebration. All right. Bye, everybody.